Oh, yes. We get dead festive. Get some King Dong merrily on high. Hello and welcome to the Midlife Gamer Podcast. Today is Saturday the 22nd of December 2018. My name's Darren Baldock. Joining me, as always at the other end of the internet, is Mr. Matthew Moore. He's looking dead festive. No, I'm lying. He's just got a beard, like Santa. All of the comparisons can be cast to one side. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick back, relax, and enjoy episode 285 of the Midlife Gamer Podcast. And we're fast approaching that special time of year. Yes, it's Christmas. It's Christmas time, mistletoe and wine, and all that bollocks. So let's get the festive shit out of the way. Matthew, what are your plans? Now, so potentially, I know we said before the show that you intend to get this up before Christmas. Okay, there may be an act of God that may prevent that from happening, but I sincerely hope not, and I doubt that very much. But as a listener, you yourself, you might not be listening to this till after Christmas. So I've got to kind of go, well, you're either, I'm going to wish you a Merry Christmas and hope you have a fantastic day with your family and friends, or you drank too much fucking sherry, didn't you? You daft arse. You showed yourself up in front of your aunts and your uncles, and you hit the kids. And they didn't like it. And then you fronted up against your bloody best mate because you just did that because you were drunk and you get a bit fighty when you've had a couple of Stellas, yeah. And then you give the missus a slap, but she actually enjoyed that, but she didn't tell anyone. Okay, but I know, she loves it. She bloody loves it.
And let's face it, she walked into a door.
Again, clumsy girl.
It's a fucking revolving door.
Clumsy girl. But either way, hope you're going to have a great Christmas, or you've had a great Christmas. All right. That all being said, let's crack on.
Yes.
Matthew, it's been a little while.
It has been a little while, and you wouldn't have thought. I mean, looking out my window now, you wouldn't have thought it was Christmas. It's blue skies, it's sunny. There's not a cloud in the sky. I've been out on a dog walk this morning. Didn't even need a coat.
It's global warming and shit. That's what's happening. Do you remember when we were kids? You had a good chance of getting a white Christmas. You know, it was it was something you look forward to, and if maybe wasn't necessarily on Christmas Day, but normally. Couple of days either side to be a light dust in the snow. None of that shit anymore. No, we're too busy killing the planet with carbon monoxide and all that doings.
Whatever happened to CFC in the ozone layer? Is that still there?
I think it's healing, but I don't know. I'm no expert in the field. All right, I'll leave that to the intelligent people.
Who was the fellow who used to jump across the islands on the breakfast morning show, the weatherman?
I can't remember his name, but he was a bummer, and I could be wrong on this. Okay. I've slept a few times since I last heard this, but he was a bummer, and he was doing Jimmy Corkill off Brookside.
Oh, really?
All right. Now that could be a complete myth because all that was going on before Snopes.com and stuff like that. So I could have been fed a complete bullshit lie. I wonder, listeners, maybe drop something in the comments after the show. Is there anything that you were told at an early age that you've held as a firm belief later to find out it was an absolute pile of bullshit?
Yeah, female ejaculation.
What? No, that happens. Well, it happens. If you get it to happen more than once, mate, that's major brownie points. Okay, man points off the scale. All right, you get a shuddering and shaking like a shitting dog, and if you can get her to forget what her name is and where she is at this moment in time, that is perfect. And I live to serve. I do. I live to serve. That's a true moment for me. Yeah, that's when you become part of the greater universe, and your consciousness just expands.
That's when you become a man, my son.
Yeah, and you get a beard full of
Joy.
yeah, baby brine. No, not baby brine. The other one. Clam batter.
Oh, lordy.
Oh, I'm glad there's no social justice warriors or snowflakes listening to this show. Please, stop ruining my life and my enjoyment.
Do you know what? We can talk about it a bit more because obviously I've been playing Red Dead 2 an awful lot.
Cool.
But did you see something in it? It was linked to on our Facebook group. It caused such a fucking stir, which is that somebody had recorded themselves, I don't know, killing all the suffragettes and then killing all the women and then putting the bodies in one room and then burning it. And people were getting really frustrated by it. Do you know what? You can, if you so choose, you can go and kill every single dog in that game. When you go up to a dog, there's an option to pet or scorn. And I mean, it's player choice. You have the choice to do that. It's not the game's fault for giving you a choice to be a dickhead.
Okay. I ain't touching this one with a barge pole, mate. But I hear what you're saying. And Rockstar have never shied away from allowing you to do those sort of things. I mean, think back all those years when you go, oh, mate, the coolest thing is you could get a prostitute, bang a prostitute, pay her, then she gets out of the car, then you can run her over and get your money back.
Craziness.
Everybody wins, apart from the prostitute. You know, but we're grown-up adults, and we recognise and understand most of us do, and we've all mostly got a good, strong moral compass. So, you know, if you're just enacting that in a game, fine. Just don't do it in real life, because that's bad shit. And you'll go to prison, and your arse will be ragged raw. You'd be like a blood orange, and you'd be walking around like John Wayne for the rest of your life. Don't allow that to happen, boys and girls. Anyway, can we move on? What we've been up to before we get into video games? Anything? Any key highlights, lowlights?
That's a good one. I don't know. I watched that new Mission Impossible film.
How many of them are there now?
I don't know. I don't know. It involved Tom Cruise running. Tom Cruise.
Oh, he does that. He does that a lot in the Mission Impossible. He always managed to get it done, though, doesn't he? It's a bit of a bullshit title. Mission Impossible, but eventually gets done. No surprises there.
Mm.
Yeah.
I went on a musical rabbit hole. I watched The Greatest Showman. Oof, that's a film.
Is it?
That's a film.
Hugh Jackman,
he can hold a tone or two.
We love the Jackman.
And then, courtesy of the Jackman doing well in that, I went back and I watched Les Miserables.
Les Miserables, very good. Yes,
and he's outstanding in that as well. In fact, one of my Christmas notes for my Advent calendar is a movie of my choice. I might choose that because it's 2.5 hours long, and it's the only way I can get the missus to watch it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because you've seen La La Land as well, haven't you?
Mm. Yeah, that was all right as well. I understand that there's another Mary Poppins film.
I believe that to be the case also.
Yes.
I think your gaydar is strong at this time of year, my friend. You're doing exceedingly well, and all power to you, mate. All power to you. I love it. Have you ever seen Moulin Rouge?
No, that one skipped me by.
You should.
It sounds like it should be up my strata and a half. Well,
absolutely. If you're on this current, light on your feet tip, then I think you're going to be all about it. It's got the McGregor. He can carry a bit of a tune, and it's got the Kidman. She's a lovely tall lady, and those of you who've been listening for a long time know I've got a little thing for tall ladies. You know, something beautiful and statuesque about them. Yeah, Gwendolyn Christie. Is that her name? Game of Thrones.
Oh, big lass.
Big Bird. Oh, yes. Some of that. Yeah, Moulin Rouge, you like that?
Has that got the Christina in it, or was that just for the song?
That was just a song, mate. That was just a song. And then you could round things off, stick with your Baz Luhrmann rabbit hole, go back and watch Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Queen of the Desert, brilliant. Okay, Guy Pearce, dressed as a bird. Terence Stamp, dressed as a bird. It's all good, mate.
All right. All right.
It's all good. Good fun.
Yeah,
Anyway.
other than kicking about in my pants, playing games and watching films and shenanigans, I don't think I've done a fat lot. I really don't. I've not been anywhere, I don't think.
No?
No.
Okay.
What about you? What about you?
Okay, few bits. Firstly, I need to send a huge thanks out to someone. Okay, so you remember a couple of podcasts ago, I put a call out and said, "Oh, you got any magic cards? You don't want any more? Send me some magic cards because I want magic cards." And somebody actually did me a golden. Okay, so big thanks to Neil Munro, who hooked me up with an impressive collection. Clearly, he wanted. He didn't want it anymore. He wanted space in his loft or whatever to store the new jam. I don't know how it works. But short story is, he hooked me up. He tried to contact me via the Darren@midlifegamer.net. Now we all know that our midlifegamer.net emails are somewhat effed in the A. We managed to make contact, but suffice to say, he sent me his collection. I'm still working through it, but it's beautiful. Some of the old cards, I love the old cards. They really are. They're something else. I love the art. I love the design, and I love some of the mechanics that are used. So I just wanted to say thank you to Neil.
Can you draft any of the old cards into current Magic?
If you did, you could do. Well, you could just create your own rules. Current Magic depends. It depends whether you're not going to be able to draft it into standard. Standard's only like your last 2 years worth of releases. Okay, but you could draft it into modern. You could create a cube out of these cards. No problem at all. No problem at all. Anyway, enough of that Magic bollocks. Because I'll probably talk about it a little bit later, or maybe not. What else have we got? Oh yeah, so I've been watching. I've been getting into Luther. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last show. A bit of Luther. All that Idris. He's my man crush. I love him. He gets added to the list of men I'd probably do if I was forced to. So yeah, Idris is now the man. He's in my top 3, along with Tom Hiddleston and who else? Who else can I have? Brad Pitt. Love me a bit of the Pitt.
He might still smell of one of his many women.
Well, I'll let you know next time he's putting his fingers in my mouth.
Is it? Yeah. So, do you rate Luther?
When he be fish hooking me after taking me roughly from behind.
Oh God, it's all Christmassy, isn't it?
So Christmassy. All right, Black Friday. Wow, Black Friday. Now, for the last
I
few
thought that
years,
was your nickname for Idris.
Jesus Christ! Casual racism, Matthew. Pack it in. Christ on a bike. The SJWs, you've just triggered them all. There'll be placards and pitchforks outside your Farringdon stronghold. Yeah.
So I've got a moat.
You've got a moat and a boy. We're not going to say what colour he is, but he's all right. He's all right. He's a good lad.
He's grateful.
Come Brexit, he's probably still going to be able to hang about. So, anyway, what I was saying, Black Friday. So that was the thing, and for the last few years, I used to be a big buyer of gadgets and gizmos. You know that, and I've kind of dialed back over the last couple of years, just because life takes a different direction and your priorities change. So what did I buy? I treated myself to a couple of bits. So I bought a Chromebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So to the uninformed, a Chromebook is basically a netbook with Chrome OS. So Chrome OS is very light. It just doesn't take up a lot of space. I remember when this first became a thing. There was the big deal around where you could take an old knackered laptop and strip off Windows and just put Chrome OS on it, and it will run perfectly fine. Because to all intents and purposes, Chrome OS is your Chrome browser with some other bits going on in the background that allow you to do basic functional things like download files and blah 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 blah, this, that, and the other. So I just thought that could be a good thing if I do it right. Now I've got a third gen iPad, which it really struggles to do anything nowadays. With Apple's whatever built-in obsolescence that forces you to buy new things as they upgrade the technology in the OS. But it's really nice. I got an Acer Chromebook R13. Got 25% off it, and it's really cool because you can use it. It's got a touchscreen. Okay, now this was an important thing for me because it has a touchscreen. It allows you to run Google apps, which are all Android based. So I'm actually gaming. I'm gaming on my Chromebook, which is great. Go on.
Is the screen detachable from the keyboard?
No. However, the whole setup has basically 4 modes. So you've got your standard netbook mode with your keyboard and your screen up in front of you. Then you can switch it into tent mode, which basically you turn it to... you turn it backwards and you can stand it up, like an inverted V.
Yeah.
Okay.
For your movie watching.
Yeah, or you can just flip the screen backwards and have the keyboard side laid down on the surface, so you've just got the screen on show, or you can fold it back altogether, and it just turns into a fucking amazing 13-inch tablet.
Holy shit, I'm assuming it's quite light.
Relatively. I mean, compared to this laptop I'm recording this show on, which is an absolute beast, it is quite light. But I'm really, really enjoying it. It's probably one of the best things I've bought in a bloody long time.
Is it all solid states and turn on quickly, run quick enough?
Yeah, boots up in seconds. It's got an SSD. It has something like 32 gig, which doesn't sound like a lot. But honestly, mate, the Google OS or Chrome OS takes up virtually no space, and it's really cool because it all ties into your Gmail account. So everything, once you're in the ecosystem, you're uploading stuff to Google Drive automatically. You can set all that up. You're doing whatever. You got your Gmail, yada yada yada. It's just nice. It's nice to experience another ecosystem outside of the Apple one. Which I've been very, very true and faithful to over a number of years. I mean, if you remember, I started off with Android devices, then I switched to Apple, and I still love my iPhone. Don't get me wrong. I still think Apple's a great company, and that they do good products. But there are other solutions out there. So, don't try and lock yourself down to one specific thing. Because when you've got Google have got their ecosystem, Apple have got their ecosystem, and even Amazon have kind of got an ecosystem, which kind of leads me up to some of the other thing I bought. I bought an Amazon Echo. So this is the doohickey, which is like a speaker, but it's also listening to you, so you can bark orders at it. So this is the whole Alexa thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Alexa do this, Alexa do that, and I'm really glad I bought that as well.
Okay. So what are the top 3 things you're asking Alexa for?
Right, so I will ask for the news in the morning. So I'll say, Alexa, what's the news? And I'll get a full news update, news, sport and weather, without me having to wait till the top of the hour on Radio 2 or 4. What else am I doing? I create shopping lists with it. So I will say, Alexa, add bacon to my shopping list. And then in the Alexa app on my phone, it automatically pops into my shopping list. That's pretty fucking sweet. That's pretty cool. What else do I do? I can game with it. So the Echo has, or that whole ecosystem has things called skills. So that's their equivalent of apps. So you don't download anything. You just activate a skill. So you can actually do some pretty good gaming on an Echo. So there's standard stuff. So there's song quiz. So that'll fire up, and you have to select a number of, from a choice of 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. So you pick a decade, and then it asks you how many people are playing, and then it will play a clip, and you can guess the artist and the title. Okay, you get points for one of the other, or you get a Brucey bonus for getting both.
And are you narrating your answer back to Alexa, who's tracking if it's right or wrong? Is the voice recognition good?
It is. It's really good. It's really impressive. And I can bark orders at it from the kitchen. So I'll just say, I'll bang something in the oven, and I'll say, Alexa, set a timer for 40 minutes, and it'll say, yeah, timer set for 40 minutes, and then that'll tell me when things are done. I think it's easy to become quite dependent on this. Or not dependent, but you become quite reliant, because it's just small incremental quality of life changes. You know, being able to just add something to a shopping list without having to touch anything that's impressive to me. I know I'm an old guy that's always been fascinated by tech, but you know, other people may take that shit for granted. So what other games? You could say, Alexa, play Escape Room. And there are escape rooms which are very similar to, I guess, your old point-and-click adventures. So it will say, right, I don't know, we'll just use very, very broad strokes here. You're in a room, there's a door in front of you, there's a door to the left, there's a door to the right, and there's a desk in the middle of the room. So you could say, right, examine desk. And it'll say, right, you examine the desk, there's a drawer, and there's something popping out from underneath the desk. So you go, look under desk. You go, okay, look under the desk, there's a key. Right, get the key. Right, you've got the key. And so on and so on and so on. So you've got all that good stuff going on. What else? There's a game I play called Yes Sire. So again, Alexa, play Yes Sire. This is going to be shit if you're listening to this on a speaker and you've got an echo in the room. I do apologise, but I've changed my my wake word, which I'll come back to in a second. So Yes Sire is. It's a game where the king of the country has made you like the chief guy, the hand of the king. You're basically the hand of the king. So you have to run the country while he's off whoring and doing all that business. So you get presented with these kind of questions. So it'll say, oh, the villagers are unhappy because I don't know, something. It's been a bad summer and the crops have been low. So it'd say, would you like to release some of the stored food from the from the stores so the peasants can eat, or not? So, and you could say yes or no, and depending on that. So, if I chose yes, I would give the food to the villagers. And it measures you on two things. There's like your influence and your wealth. And you start the game on 50, and you can't let either of these two measures go above 100 or below 0, or to 100 or below 0, or to 0, because then the king just gets fucked off with you for one reason or other. Either you become too popular, or everyone hates you, or you become too wealthy, or you become a pauper. So when you relay that answer, it will then say, right, okay, this is the outcome of what you've decided, and this is how these two measures have changed. So let's go back to the example where you're giving grain out or giving food out to the villagers. So your popularity will rise, but your wealth will lower. So it's about managing those levels. It's interesting.
Does it force you to sort of morally question what you would rather do, but you can't because you're also having to manage these two bars?
Exactly.
It sounds like the end game to Fable 3.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you're right.
And going back to the escape room thing, is it advanced enough, or maybe this may already exist, but could you just essentially get Warlock of Firetop Mountain on that? Entirely read out to you, and you just choose.
I guess so.
I mean,
I guess what way I'd position the answer would be, you don't necessarily want to have Warlock of Firetop Mountain read to you, because that is an old school way of playing a choose your own adventure game, and technology has afforded and allowed developers to create a much more elegant and streamlined version of that original game. So part of your answer will be yes, you can do that, but it's presented in a different way now.
I mean, with her voice going back when she's narrating all these things, is it how, I don't know, effective, or is there much personality to the voice, or is it just blatantly just monotone? Yes, I will do this.
It's interesting. I think the way the technology has evolved, I think we've got a best representation of personality right now. Yes, it does still sound a bit monotone. Sometimes it sounds stilted, but the amount of things that you can say to her is incredible, and the answers that she gives. I'll just say, like, Alexa, who's on the naughty list, and she'll start giving me an answer that's kind of tailored to what my question was. So she isn't just saying, "Oh, I don't know." She'll actually give you a sometimes, often, entertaining answer. But anyway, enough of all that bollocks, right? Because I said a little earlier, you can change the wake word. So the default wake word is Alexa. Soon as the Echo hears Alexa, it starts getting ready to do stuff for you. You go into the Echo app, and you can change the wake word.
And is that and you record it yourself? So it's definitely
no. Those pre-selected. There's only about 4 of them, but there doesn't need to be any more because the only one that you need to select is computer. Okay, so you can imagine that a childhood fantasy of many people listening to this show was you'd be watching Star Trek Next Generation and thinking, God, it's fucking amazing. I'd love to be able to interact with something by just saying computer. Well, you can do it. You could do it with Alexa, and you could do it to great effect. I don't want to spoil too much, but imagine the sort of things that Captain Picard would say. If you bark that at the Echo, you get some really interesting responses.
That sounds like it's come a long way since I first saw them.
Yeah.
Is there any?
I'll say computer, tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Of course you do.
Right. I'm not going to tell you what it says, but it's good. It's a good answer. I go, computer, go to red alert. And the fucking siren goes off. The proper siren from Star Trek.
That's awesome.
Computer, fire photon torpedoes. Well, all I'll say is, if you've got it, switch it from Alexa to computer and go have fun. It's a trekker's paradise, or a trekkie's paradise, whichever side of the planet you live on.
Is there any machine learning built into that is surfaced to you? Does it start to recognise patterns, or I'm trying to think of, like you were saying, who's on the naughty list? Is there any reason why, or is there any reason that what you've discussed with Alexa, it's remembered that? So if it knows your contact list, maybe would it be able to pull from that? And I don't know, that there's so many people who sort of also hate the idea of these things because they're convinced that they're always listening and always sort of that's then being used to target your marketing. I mean, it's weird enough when I'm on my phone and I'm looking at a tent or something, and then I'm on my computer that's not linked in the slightest, but for some reason now on Facebook I'm getting ads for tents.
No, it's interesting. I mean, what I would say is that I've only begun to scratch the surface of the capabilities of the Amazon Echo. I understand that if you have a friend who also has an Echo, you can initiate a voice call directly through your Echo. So it'd be like Echo to Echo. So if you had one, I could say, computer, call Matthew. And it will go, right, calling Matthew. And then your Echo will just start sounding off. I don't know what it'll do. It might say, you got a call coming in from Darren. And you go, fuck that geezer. He don't speak to me no more. Yeah, but all in all, I'm having a load of fun with it, and it just like I said, it's just the incremental quality of life improvements that you get. If I want to listen to Christmas music, I just say, computer, play me Christmas music, and it will just start doing it. It's awesome.
Is this the smaller one? Because I know there's quite a tall one, isn't there, as well, which is probably more speakery.
Yeah, there's the tall speakery one, which is the one I've got. So this normally retails at £90, but during the Black Friday sale, and I've noticed right now, it's down to $54.99. And if you are an Amazon Prime customer, you can spread that payment over 5 months with no interest. So you're paying £11 a month for 5 months for an amazing bit of kit.
I think
just putting it out there.
Yeah, if I order that today, I reckon I could probably get that for Monday and wrap it up as a present.
Why not? I think that's a fantastic idea. Any road, So that's all my that's all my tech gubbins.
I'm well jealous. Is the speaker good enough? I mean, like, if you've got a house party, I know it's hard to imagine you hosting a house party, but imagine you do. Would that
fucking hate people?
Would that speaker be sufficient enough to sort of be your default go-to sound thing? But is it better than, say, a laptop turned up full?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be Cole Coxing it in the corner of the room by any stretch, but just to have some music playing in the background, yes, it's tons better than a laptop.
And when you're asking it to play music, is it pulling that from Amazon's? I think they've got a music service, haven't they? A premium music service.
Yeah, so there's a couple of tiers to that, isn't there? There's the Prime Amazon Prime Music, which gives you a good amount of range of tracks available, and then you subscribe to their full blown service, and you find when you order your Echo when it comes, I think they offer you 3 months for £1 or something, so you could just take that. I don't know. They offer different deals all the time, but yeah, you can go the full Monty. So that's basically their equivalent of Spotify.
Yeah, I've got a premium Spotify account. I think I got it free with the last phone that I picked up.
But I think just on that, I think you can hook your Spotify into your Echo.
That would be tasty because it'd have all your playlists on there as well.
Exactly, my friend.
Oh, I am going to take a look at that as soon as we wrap up.
Good. Right then. Let's move on to other business.
Other business? You mean the business of the business? The
business of video games and what we've been doing with them.
All right. Shall I kick things off?
Yes, please do.
All right. Well, we'll speak about 2 games then. So the first one is a title that's only recently hit the PlayStation Network. I'm unsure what the price of it is because I got a review copy, which was nice.
That's all right.
It's called. I had to ask for the phonetic spelling of this, by the way, because words and me. It's
words you, yes.
It's called Scintillatron. Yes, Scintillatron 1496.
All right, that's a mouthful.
It certainly is.
Said no woman ever to me.
And this is a twin stick shoot, if you like, not a million miles away from your Geometry Wars, say. Biggest difference being that your firing, although you got full range of movement, your firing is only in 8 directions, so your 4 cardinal directions and then your diagonals. And then the enemies that you're shooting will react to your movement in a funky way, and the enemies have 2 different colours. I think it's red and green, maybe. I'm colourblind, so sue me. And the idea being that you want to be focusing on a single colour at a time to build up a combo. And once you've cleared all of the enemies on the screen, it then dives you down into the next level. As you're playing it, you've got a bunch of different power-ups and power downs. Like one of them I accidentally ran over and I'm like, oh, it's reversed all of the controls. Right, no, I'm just going to sit here and die because I cannot do that. My mind will not allow me to process that. It looks to be one of those games that's targeted out there for people who like high scores and chasing other people's high scores. Yeah. It's only been developed by a small team, an indie team that I can understand. I think they're British based. And the one thing that I do like about it, I mean, it is a very sort of simple game, but it's got a lot of sort of Jeff Minter charm to it.
Oh, we like the Minter, don't we?
Yeah, it's not crazy mutant camels Llamatron, but it's just got that sort of that visual, that aesthetic, and certainly a lot of times got in there with the team either licensing electronic music from around the world, I suppose, or creating some of their own music themselves. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I took a look at the leaderboards, particularly of a friend of mine who's also done a review for this, and it's up on the website midlifegamer.net if you want to see what somebody who's put more time into it thinks, because it's got a 2-player mode on there, and I've got no idea how that operates.
Yeah.
So I've only had a quick go at it. I thought it was entertaining. There's a review on the website, and if it sounds anything like you're interested in, go and check it out.
So what we're talking here, PlayStation Network, downloadable game, how much are we talking here?
From a price point of view, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. They're normally sub 20, aren't they? You're probably looking at about 15 quid.
Yes. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I couldn't bulk at any more than 20 for a title like this. But yeah, like I say, there's a review on the site if it interests you, or next time you're browsing the PlayStation Store and you see it, then check the trailer out and see if it's your cup of tea.
Ooh. Or coffee. We're equal opportunities beverage drinkers on this show.
Well, no, I mean, absolutely, but I just don't understand hot chocolate. I understand the concept of it. I just never really got into it.
No? You've something wrong with you, my friend.
Cup of Bovril all day long.
Yeah, but you can't put you can't put squirty whipped cream and caramel sauce all over a Bovril, can you? Not unless you're a freak of nature.
All right, let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, we must. We simply must.
Yeah.
So let's just recap for my benefit and the listeners. Where were we up to last time we spoke? You just started playing?
I think I was very much scratching the surface and kind of getting my horse legs back again.
Yeah. Okay.
But I was it certainly won me over, and I was certainly really, really pleased with my adventures thus far as Arthur Morgan. I am also pleased to say that I've completed the narrative to that game. There are a number of chapters and there are a number of epilogues.
Good. Okay. I mean, those familiar with the show know that we do try to avoid spoilers, particularly with new hot games. So don't fear for any second that we're going to spoil anything. Well, obviously Matthew's in control of his own mouth this morning, so but I trust him implicitly. So don't feel you need to skip through this.
No, and we're also in the AMs, so I'm actually not drunk. So hopefully I'll be able to keep a rein on my ass.
Yeah, give it an hour.
Yeah. All right then. So let's just talk a bit about the cowboy world. So you'll remember from the first game yourself, Darren, that as well as your story missions, which telegraphed on the map based on the person you need to go to pick up that mission, and there's also all the side stuff that you could do. So you'll remember in the first game there was a concept of strangers.
Yes, I do.
So you'd be riding around and you'd hear something and something would ping on your map and you'd go over and it could range from a number of different things, and it does the same thing here. But there are some stranger missions which is a stranger encounter, if you like. Let's say a prisoner is being taken in the back of a wagon somewhere by the law, and they're shouting, and you can go if you choose to kill the law and let them out, or you can just completely ignore them and head on back. You might bump into some chap who has been bitten by a snake and is poisoned and is in fear for his life. You can choose to help him out if you want, or you could just disappear, leave him to slowly die, or you could shoot him in the head and steal all of his stuff. And all these sort of choices that you're making when it comes to these, and to some of the choices that you make in some of the more grander missions as well, is just your actions as you're roaming around the countryside is impacting your. I guess it's a reputation system. I generally played on the good side more than the negative side. It's my go-to, I suppose, because my moral compass there was like, well, I don't want to be a dick. I'm already kind of a dick because I'm a cowboy. Do you know what I mean?
How does it manage that whole good versus bad? I mean, I know you've got like if you think back to Mass Effect, you kind of got that Paragon system where, you know, depending on how you behaved, would in certain ways drive the narrative and how it was presented to you. How does that work in Red Dead 2?
Difficult to say because I've only really, gone down the one route, haven't I? I know that there is a bar. It's quite literally just a bar. One side being white, the other side being red, and each time that you do something, it's a little notification just pop up saying like, I don't know, it's either gone up or it's gone down. I know that there are some. I don't know about narrative, but I know there are some gameplay mechanics which come into that. So if you're virtuous, then I believe you get some discounts in some stores. If you're more of a nasty bastard, there's every now and again when you take a really good shot at somebody, it will go into this sort of slow motion, really stylized kill cam.
Oh, like Sniper Elite.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily track the bullet, but it's dead stylish and it looks cool. Okay. And I think if you're more renegade, if you like, I think it services them a bit more, and they're possibly a bit more graphic, perhaps.
Okay.
But going back to those those stranger missions or the side missions, although some of them are one-time encounters, you can bump into that person again hours and hours and hours down the line, and they'll remember you and they'll give you a kickback. They'll help you out somehow. But some of them also, and again, they just look like stranger things when you start them off, do continue to have do follow on into like a mini side mission of different activities, and some of them are really good. And again, it's the thing with this game, and the thing which you have to take your hat off to it, is that there's so much in that game that you are likely to not see.
Yeah, do you know what? I was just thinking that, and particularly when you're talking about these multi-step side missions, I would imagine that there are certain missions which are weighted more towards the asshole, that if you try and do good on the first go, it effectively cuts that mission off altogether. And I like that, because then that encourages you to play through the entire story arc more than once. Because I remember I know I'm drawing comparisons with Mass Effect, but I remember after completing Mass Effect as the good guy, straight away I said, right, I want to be that badass, nasty, sexy lesbo bitch. And just not only because I like to see a nice ass running around if you're going around in third person, but also I want to see how things change. I want to see what the differences are. I want to see which direction the story will take. Now I'm not being the good guy anymore.
Yeah, and I don't know how much from a narrative point of view that would change. But I mean, even I'm kind of tempted to restart and do it again, for the simple fact that it's an incredibly well told story. I mean, when I early on into it, I was praised. I was chatting with other people who were playing it, and I was just like, I love it. I love the gang. I love the camaraderie and how we've all got together and how much love there is for each other and how much they want to help each other out, and we're going to get there. We're going to go to Tahiti, or we're going to go to Australia. We're going to start all again. And because it really does keep playing against the end of the West. That's it. The federal government is now in and trying to stamp out all this because laws need to be passed and we need to be a bit more of a civilized society, and they are very much a dying breed, and seeing how they struggle with change it's fascinating. And I know that I mentioned on the last show that I was so glad that they've gone back to this as opposed to knocking out another GTA. I mean, we're going to get a GTA 6, I'm quite sure.
We want a Bully 2 first, mate.
I think that might be a bit of a stretch. I mean, you will get more chance getting a second table tennis game.
Okay, remember where you heard it first, people. Yeah, December 2018, Bully 2, next game, called it.
Radio. I mean, again, so there's not too much I can say. It does a lot of cool things. Do you remember in GTA where you would do a stunt jump and it would show you the cinematic camera?
Yes.
You could turn cinematic camera on at any point by holding one of the buttons. And one of the neat things it does is if you've got a mission objective or you drop your own waypoint down in the map, you get onto the road, you hold the button, it will pathfind its way there. And the camera will keep changing from like a chase camera to between other sides of these trees where the light's shining through, and you're just and also it then gives the opportunity for the music to start to swell. And oh my word, the music! I don't know how they do that, but I remember there was a lot of people loved. I think it was at the ride into Mexico or something in the first one. There are many moments like that, and I got back. I'm pretty sure I was towards the end of one of the chapters, and I was like, right, I need to go and do this now. This is mission critical as far as I'm concerned. I need to go here, and the game must know that the majority of the people playing it are going to hit that mission critical path, and then the music started to swell, and I've got goosebumps now just thinking about it. But it did that thing, and I don't know if it was dynamic, if it knew how it was happening, or if it was just by chance, but the song came to its natural conclusion as I was just slowing down and getting to where I needed to be. And I was just like, they've done it again. Yeah. And I also don't mind saying that towards the end of the game, I was in tears. I was riding and I was just like, fuck, we're doing this. Oh my God, I was just filled with such emotion. And I called a few things. I was trying to work out, trying to guess where the story was going to go, and I called something, and I was so glad that it came to pass, because I thought it was just a perfect way of keeping that story going. And oh my word, gosh, cannot say enough good things about this. So although I've finished it, the world's still there. The world is still there for me to continue. I can see that there are step 3 of a side story that I've got to go and do. So great, I can still, anything that wasn't quite tied up, I can still do. And there's random encounters that I've heard people talking about, like Ku Klux Klan things happening in the middle of the night. I've not seen any of that, and and everything I hear about that makes me think, I have to see it. And one thing that was lovely with this game is I found myself playing it a lot when the wife was sat there reading a book, and I always love that. I always love it when a game captures her imagination a little bit.
Yeah.
And do you remember I think it was in GTA 4 was the first time I saw this, but you could go to a comedy club. I think they had Ricky Gervais as himself.
Yes.
As a comedian. Now, in a couple of the towns, there is a opera house or a picture house, moving pictures, don't you know, or a variety show. And I sat there with the wife and watched all 3 acts of a variety show.
Oh, brilliant!
It started off with a woman singing about the town, and then there was a fire dancer, and it ended with some can-can girls. It was fucking amazing.
Oh, that's really good.
And at any point, I could have just got up and walked out, but I'm going to sit here, and you can keep pressing buttons to cheer or to boo.
and I love those moments in games where you kind of subconsciously think someone or some team has probably spent a couple of months just on this, and they deserve enough respect for me to just hang about and witness what they've crafted. You know, I think about my memory goes straight to BioShock Infinite and the barbershop quartet singing "God Only Knows," and I just think, yeah, I'm gonna stick around for this because it's bloody good, and somebody's gone to a lot of effort to insert this into a game that I could freely ignore. And like you said, you could have got up and walked out, and you'd never have seen that content within the game.
No,
absolutely astounding. I'll tell you what, mate, you've got me kind of sold. I've not heard you get juiced and jazzed about a game in such a long time. I had a little win on the lottery last night. I might treat myself.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not a millionaire by any stretch. I think I won 87 quid on the Euro lottery. So I don't know. Might treat myself to a bit of RDR.
Well, I'm playing it on a regular PlayStation 4, and it looks great. It looks great, and I've got a 4K HDR TV, and I am still in two minds whether I should sort of like drop on a Pro if they come out at a good price, because I saw what it looked like at Derek's house. The difference I could tell with God of War. So the difference with this as well, I'm sure, is going to be outstanding. I mean, you talk about the size of the team. I sat through the credits.
Bet that was a good long sit down.
Well, I finished it and I put it down, and she goes, "Is that it now? Is it over?" I went, "Yep." She goes, "You're not going to play it anymore?" Nope. I mean, yes, of course I am. But I said, I'm going to watch the end of these credits, and I'll jump in a shower, and I'll take the dogs out, or go to the shop, or do what it is I've got to do. And she's like, "How many people worked on this game?" I'm like, look, okay, it's alphabetic, this bit as well. Is this the whole team? No, this is just a QA people. Jesus, because it starts off giving you like really, in the same way with many sort of trailers, I suppose, it gives you all the big names, and it's framed nicely, and it might show images of what's happening post game in the future maybe, and then just the roll of name after name after name. Yeah. I can tell you that I don't know what the default timing is for your PlayStation controller to turn off, but it turned off twice.
Wow!
I had to wake the controller back up again to continue the credits rolling.
Now, here's a question for you, because I think over the years, and you've got the Marvel universe or the cinematic universe to thank for this, but I often find myself now with movies at a cinema, is, even if it's not a Marvel film, I will stay and watch the credits because there may be something extra. I don't even know whether we want to talk about it because again, we work very hard to avoid spoilers. But I would like to think that there's value in sitting through those credits.
Yeah. And it's not in a Marvel Cinematic Universe way that it gives you something extra at the end, but before it just gives you the roll of names and it's just filling out the main folks. Every sort of 3 pages, it will then cut to a shot of the world and letting you sort of see where people are now and what they're doing now, and again, and often showing all the big steamships coming in, all the big railways going around, and again the death of the West. So I think we can park that conversation there. Anybody who has any interest in this game probably already has it, or maybe they're just finishing a year of shame, or maybe they're waiting for a price drop, or they're looking forward to Santa giving it to them because they've been a good boy or a good girl this year. You're gonna have a hell of a time. Yes, it has the Rockstar open world jank, and it can be frustrating. To the point where somebody had left me a gift on my bedside, and I kept walking up to my bedside, and it gives you a prompt to interact with something, but it wouldn't work out. I knew it was there. I could see it. And I had to keep moving back and forth and spin myself around. It came, what, sleep on the bed? No. What, have a shave? No. Look at your outfits? No. It's there. It's a stick of dynamite. I just want to fucking pick it up. Can you just register that it's there? And that's awkward. And like the acceleration that you have when you're running, very much accidentally, I will be at full pelt when I hit the doors to the saloon, and I just fucking burst in very dramatically. It was like, fuck. Oh, sorry, guys.
Brilliant.
So go knock yourself out. However, you can continue playing this game in an online fashion.
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
Damn right.
Yes, you can. It's in a beta form at the moment. I got into it. I think they did a sort of staggered release based on which edition you bought and when it first registered you as playing the game, but by the end of the week, everybody who has the game had access to the online beta. So the first thing I do is I create a character. Right, this is where I'm going to have a chick, and this is where I'm going to be a bitch.
Yeah, damn right.
So character creator, set myself up, drops you into the world, exactly the same world, same typography.
Okay.
Same hills and shit. There's a word that's not coming to mind.
Yeah, topography sounds better than typography.
Yeah.
That's a completely different thing. That's all letters and shit.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, good.
And it's utilising a lot of the NPCs that you ran into through the main story as quest givers and reasons for you being there. So it's nice that they've gone an extra mile, I suppose, with the voice acting and the camera work and the motion capturing and the writing, I suppose. At the moment, it's quite. I'd say it's kind of barren, but it is a beta, and it is, well, for the moment, it's a Brucey bonus because I'm not paying anything extra for this. But you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be many, many, many microtransaction possibilities in the future.
For sure.
So you can do story missions. So these story missions that take you from place to place. When you get to them, I don't know if you can do them on your own, but it gives you an option to matchmake. So I was doing a mission the other day. Right, matching you into... Right, here's 3 other people. And then straight away, all 4 of us are in the cutscene together with who we are and what we look like. And we then go off and perform that mission together. I mean, we weren't communicating in any way, but everyone knew what they were doing, thankfully, and I just sort of followed them. They've all got faster horses than me. They got more guns than me. They look a lot better than me.
Yeah.
And I think they're just probably replaying these missions. There's got to be a finite amount of them, and I think you can just find them through matchmaking options. So you can just go into hit one of the buttons and go, right, I want to do sit me in matchmaking for any story mission, or put me in matchmaking for any just deathmatch mode, because you do have those like team things or every man for themselves, and they've never really been the draw to me when it comes to those games. The most fun I had, to be perfectly honest, was me and 3 of our lovely friends and community members having a night dicking about.
Of course.
Because the first thing everyone does is they get their lasso out and they start ripping each other off fucking horses, dragging them around, and just generally being dickheads. It's great. I think Cherry Scone's hello involves shooting me in the head. Hello, I'm here, bang. and you can posse up. There's you can either create a temporary posse, or you can create a permanent posse, which costs $200 in-game dollars.
Yeah.
And I think as a Brucey bonus for playing it early, they've just thrown everybody a bit of money to sort of get themselves going. So I will investigate that concept of a permanent posse, because I mean I can decide where my camp's going to be, and it costs you a couple of dollars just to move your camp from place to place. But when you go there, there's a flag, and if you lower the white flag, it means that you're flagged for PvP in some shape or form. It's not explained very well, and I've not played with it that much, but there are. I mean, I think it's got a bit of a sort of an Ultima Online PvP flagging system, whereas if you were to kill somebody because you can, another player, you're then flagged as a bandit for X amount of time, and you're free reign then. Also, when you're taking on a story mission, so I think me and Godtod did a story mission where we had to just get on a horse and carriage, take these supplies somewhere. But when we start that mission, all the people who are around see that we're on that mission, and they can free reign, come and attack us, try and stop us.
Wow, okay.
So I'm booking it, and Godtod sat at the back just shooting at fuckers. it was, and when you get into those situations, it's a lot of fun. The bit which I can see being appealing, if they get it right, is investing. Okay, so a reward for your time investment in the game. For example, if I'm in the main game and I loot a body, I seem to remember towards the start I was picking up maybe 10, 15 cents here and there. Towards the end of the game, you get like $2.50 off somebody.
Yeah.
At the moment, I did a mission where I had to kill a bunch of AI bandits. Did that, go and loot them all. I'm getting like 7 cents. And the prices of everything in the shops are about the same. And you have to buy new weapons that are sort of given to you through story.
Yeah.
You have to buy a new horse if you want to get a faster horse. If you want to change your look, you have to pay for that. And there's also experience. Experience levels. So you're getting XP when you're doing things, and a lot of the stuff is locked behind that as well. So I like the idea that I suppose it could potentially do one of those things where you can look at somebody, and this is what I used to love about MMOs, like even World of Warcraft. You could look at a character straight away and go, "Holy shit! They've been somewhere. They've done something that I've got no idea where it is, because look at them." And it's going to have that to it, I suppose. And I like the fact that it's toned down, because I understand that GTA Online has gone hyper bonkers.
Okay.
Which is fine. That's what they do. If they continue to keep this somehow sort of grounded in this reality, then I think it'll be great. I don't know if there's going to be any way of flying. I know that's quite a fun thing to do in GTA, but we'll see. They're not stupid. They're obviously going to be working on this. I've got no idea if they're doing any story DLC. I guess it's completely up to them. I'm certainly 100% satisfied with where it went. But yeah, I'll endeavour to play with that a bit more. I think it's going to be one of those games where I'll only really play it if I've got my headset on and I'm playing it with friends.
Cool. What a wonderful piece on Red Dead Redemption 2. I was really pleased with how you feel about it. And I know that sounds a bit strange, but when you're happy about a game, I'm happy too.
And I've got a feeling that I weren't that blown away by the first one, you know. But this has just raised the bar in every single way. Hats off to them. I watched the Game Awards. They won a lot of them.
Well deserved by all accounts.
Yeah,
by the sound of things.
God of War took the main title though.
Yes. Yeah.
Lesson.
That's a good game though, isn't it?
Boy.
Boy. Right. Any other video game shenanigans you need to cover off?
Oh gosh, no. I keep threatening to talk about Dead Cells, which we'll do next year. Oh, and also remind me to talk to you about Reiki. I think I threatened that last show as well, didn't I?
Fucking hell.
We'll save that till later in the afternoon.
Maybe. Okay. Well, I've got some digital content to discuss, but I'm very conscious that my cup is empty and our mouths are dry and my bladder is a little full. So I'd like to take this opportunity for us to take a short break, put put a little bit of Christmas chiptunage on for your asses, and we'll be right back after this short piece of music. And we're back. That was nice, wasn't it? Yes. Dead festive. That's what we are, dead festive. That's the closest thing you get to a Christmas-themed show.
I'm pretty sure we used to have Christmas shows where we'd give each other a Christmas present on air.
Yeah, we did. And you just buy me vodka, which was great. Because I could use some more vodka. Oh, I battered it the other weekend. I battered it to the point where I can't remember what I did. And apparently I fell asleep during something special.
Oh, not a good look. Not a good look. Before you start talking about digital, it's worth just quickly pointing out that I actually have been playing Rock Band a little bit.
A little bit. Oh, good. Okay.
And each time I do, I'm drunk and I spend money on DLC.
Of course you do. Yeah, why not? That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Interesting. I will be talking to that very point in a little while. So let's talk about my digital life right now. So I've not spoken about it for a long while. And some people may think, oh right, well he's all about the magic now. He's a magic wanker, so he's not a tanker anymore. I actually jumped on World of Tanks for a few hours the other night, and that's still a great game.
You've still got it?
Yeah, I've still got it. Yeah. I've still got it, but I don't play it anywhere near as much as I used to because there's only so many hours in the day, and my my gaming jam is very much geared towards other things right now. One of which I'm going to talk about right this very second. Eternal is a digital collectible card game. I would position it as it's a happy marriage between Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone in terms of the way it plays. Now, this is I've had my eye on this for a while. It's been knocking around for a couple of years. It's a very polished game. It looks great. There's voice acting in it. The one voice in it sounds like, and I need to look into this, but it could be the same guy that does the voice in Bastion.
Oh, that fella.
Now we remember that guy because he'd got a very distinct voice, and I heard this guy talking. I thought that sounds familiar. I wonder if it is that guy from Bastion. Anyway, voice acting's excellent. There's animations going on the battlefield. So okay, let's take a little step back for a second. This is your typical CCG fare where there's you're playing against another person, your deck against their deck. You're playing sigils, which is effectively your mana equivalent in Magic. So if you draw in a direct comparison, sigils, number of sigils you have builds over time as you play more of them. It allows you to play more expensive cards. These cards have things. They have an attack value. They have a defense value. They have other things. In as all great CCGs do. They take a basic framework of how you play a game, and then you are playing cards that pervert or subvert the rules in any way, shape, or form, and you use that to combine with other cards in your deck to win and get the opponent's life down to zero. So, all that being said, I've been spending quite an amount of time on this. It started off as a slow burn, and I think my descent into Magic, or my ascent to Magic, whichever way you want to view it, it kind of prompted me to go back and have a look at it, particularly in the light of Magic Arena, and now me understanding that is a real viable proposition. That is a great representation of Magic the Gathering, and it's good to see that they are throwing their full weight behind that. They've announced, I think they ran a trailer during the Game Awards where they're announcing like a double-digit $1 million prize pool for esports to do with Magic for 2019. Don't know where I'm going to get a slice of that, but it's worth getting involved in. But let's talk about Eternal. So this has been knocking around for a good while, and like I said, it's been on my radar, and I've just started playing it in earnest. So when you start the game, there's we'll call them the archetypes. So for each archetype, there's a character, and you play through a set of tutorial missions. Now, these are designed purely to get you familiar with the concept of the various things that you can do and the mechanics that are involved in the moment-to-moment gameplay. Once you get through those, you unlock some decks, and it kind of opens up. And there's a multitude of things you can do. There's actually a whole wealth of things, and on first glance, it can be quite overwhelming. But actually, they hide things, or they gear their daily reward system towards exploring each of these different options. So you've got your standard casual format where you're just going up against somebody else with your decks, and there's no loss. Where you lose a game, but there's no detriment to you. Then there's the rank mode, where in similar to Hearthstone, you're ranking up, but for every win you get while playing. There's there's campaigns. There's like offline campaigns, which again presents it in a storybook form, and there are missions that you need to complete or enemies you need to defeat, and those are you get one with the game. But there's others that are available to buy, and I'll come back to DLC etc. in a second. So you've got that going on. Then you've got almost like I can't remember what it's called now. There's a mode where you can go in and you can go up against AI, and they get progressively more and more difficult. Gauntlet mode, and then the further you progress, the greater your rewards, because this game is rewarding you on a constant basis, to the point where I think you could happily continue to play this game and never have to spend a penny. Now, the first thing you might be thinking is, well, that doesn't sound like a very good business model. Let's park that for a second. We'll come back to that point, because I want to talk about what else you can do within the game. So you've got your Gauntlet mode. Then there's Forge mode, which is basically you're presented with a series of choices of 3 cards, and you basically construct a deck out of these cards, and you'll choose one, then they'll disappear, and then another 3 will be presented to you. You do that 25 times, and you end up with a deck, and then you go up against AI enemy and see how far you get. So that introduces the concept of deck building, and gets you used to the idea of looking for synergies and what cards work well together. So I'm having fun with that at the moment. And you got your rank mode, and then there is almost like their draft mode, where you pay money to enter a tournament, and you are drafting cards, and then you have to build a deck out of those cards and see how far you get. Whatever you draft, you get to keep. So this is, again, it's a good way of getting filling in the gaps in your collection, because there are many, many, many hundreds of cards. I think there's like 4 or 5 different sets that they've released since initial launch. I've not felt compelled at any point to buy packs. You can spend money in game to buy packs. You can buy gems. You can craft cards in a similar way to Hearthstone. You can break down cards you've got too many of to build other cards. There's a good infrastructure outside of the game. Good websites where you can go, where people are posting their decks, and you can import the deck into the game, and it'll tell you how much dust or whatever shard stone you need to build the cards to create this deck. It's a whole lot of fun, and there's a whole load of stuff going on. You get rewards for your first win of the day, and then for every second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, you earn in a card for a victory. The bottom line is, it's throwing a lot of stuff at you on a regular basis, and you know what? That feels really good. And it got me thinking about the difference in the models, in the business models, across various free-to-play games. And I'm using Eternal, I'm using Magic Arena as my two points of comparison. So with Magic Arena, you can buy packs. They're expensive in comparison. Okay, everything you do within that game outside of casual play costs you either gold that you earn through grinding, or through gems you earn through buying them with real money. Okay. At any point when I'm thinking about spending money in Magic Arena, I'm almost kind of just checking myself and saying, well, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to spend money? I think I bought a starter pack because it seemed like really good value. But I only bought it because it seemed really good value. Everything else that's being sold within that game, I don't see a value proposition. Even the scalability of buying multiple packs. Normally when you buy one pack, it costs X amount of money. When you buy 3, it's a little cheaper. When you buy 15, it's a little cheaper. If you buy 36, it gets a lot cheaper. You don't see that in Magic Arena. There's no scaled saving associated with the volume of stuff that you buy. Now with Eternal, what I see is A, they're throwing a lot of stuff at you at a regular basis, which makes you feel good. B, the kind of stuff that they're selling is dead interesting. So you're buying campaigns. When you buy a campaign, it'll give you some extra stuff as well. You're also buying themed decks, and you're buying stuff that's cosmetic. Now, for some people, and we know in Fortnite it's all about the cosmetics, that is a good thing to spend money on, and I guess the bottom line, what I'm saying is, I'm looking at these things on the screen and I'm thinking, well, I'm getting loads of free stuff all the time, and I feel good about that. I'm going to spend some money. I'm going to drop some money because I'm getting my value. I'm getting my value out of this. You know, so it was just interesting to look at two ways of doing it. You either say, yeah, all right, you want this, you got to pay me, or B, I'm going to throw loads of stuff at you so you don't feel so bad about spending money.
Is there part of Magic the Gathering which can get away with it because it's Magic?
Absolutely. And you know what? Wizards of the Coast, owned by Hasbro, big corporate machine. They want money. They want profit. They have earnings calls. You know, they have a P&L to manage. All right. Don't get me wrong. Direwolf Digital, much smaller company, but they're focused on one particular brand, and they're working very, very hard to continue to evolve and build that. And they've struck on a model that says, well, you know what? This doesn't cost us anything to produce this content. So let's just feed it out to them on a regular basis. And you know what? They're going to spend the money because you'll get the whales. You'll get the whales that will invest. I mean, right now they've got the founders packs that were available at launch. They've reintroduced them to say, yeah, if you missed out on the launch, you've got an opportunity to buy these founder packs. Now, they're not cheap. These founder packs, I think one of them's like 48 quid. Do you know what? Part of me just thinks, yeah, I'm going to get one of them. Because I'm getting a lot of value out of the time spent playing this game,
and it's free to get into it.
It's free to play, okay? It's totally free to play, and I believe anyone can continue to play this game. I mean, even buying the lowest level pack of gems, which is about 3 or 4 quid, yeah. If you buy those gems, then you'll get 3 free packs straight away, and then for every subsequent set release, it knows that you've spent money on gems, so it'll throw 3 free packs at you every time a new set is released, just for that one-off payment. That's good shit.
That's nice. That is.
Yeah.
I took a look at the video that you sent me for this, and I took one look at it and went, oh, yep, brilliant, one of them. Have you been keeping up? I don't know if I've already asked you this before in a previous show or not, but and I'm sure it's got somebody who was heavily involved with Magic, is working with on the Dota card game.
Yeah, that's not done well. That's kind of died on its arse for a number of reasons. I think the prime one being it's not free to play. You have to buy the game. You have to buy the game to play. And I can't recall the name of the game right now, but I don't see great things. And apparently, by all accounts, they lost a huge amount of their player base within the first couple of weeks, which tells me that people are buying it, they're playing it, they're not having fun, they're walking away, they're going back to Hearthstone, they're going back to Magic, they're going back to wherever, you know. So I don't know. I can't really speak any more to that. But what I will say regards Eternal is that's available on a whole load of platforms right now. So you can get it on Steam. You can play it on mobile. So I'm playing it on my netbook at the moment, on my Chromebook. So you get it on iOS, you can get it on Android, and it's more recently been released on Xbox One. And you're going to like these words now, Matthew, because I know you're all about this. Unified account.
Oh.
You can take your account to any of those platforms and play, and it holds and retains all the data because you're creating an account direct with Direwolf Digital. Okay, so it's not tied to your gamer tag, it's not tied to your Steam ID, it's your own personal account with Direwolf Digital. Nice. Love it. I love it. This is a great game, and it's a great alternative if you're burnt out on Magic, or you're burnt out on Hearthstone, or you're just interested in getting involved in a digital collectible card game, but you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want to find out what the fuss is all about. This is totally worth a try. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got a recruiter friend link.
Of course you do.
Of course I do, right. So what I will say is I get a little something, I think, for the first 10 people that sign up. Every time somebody signs up and plays through the introductory tutorial missions, I'll get a little something back. But for anybody who uses this link to sign up, and I'll put it in the show notes, and Matthew, I don't know whether we can put things into iTunes links or whether Apple don't like us doing that. I'd like an opportunity to do this because when people use this link, when they complete the tutorial, they'll get a unique theme deck. Okay, just for signing up with this link. So there's something for you, a little something for me. Everybody wins.
Hey.
You know? We like those scenarios. So there you go. Eternal. Much fun being had with that. And I'm looking forward to continue playing it. Because I can only play Magic Arena when I'm sat at my desktop. But when I'm in bed, I can still get my CCG on.
Of course you can.
Because I can. Love it. And it plays all right on a small. I probably wouldn't recommend trying, unless you're like really familiar with the game. I wouldn't recommend playing it on a mobile phone, unless you've got one of those big bastards. Yeah, if you've got a big bastard, you'll be fine, or a tablet, you'll be fine. But your mileage may vary depending on how good your eyes are and how big your screen is,
and how fat your thumbs are.
Exactly. So yeah, bit of digital fun for me makes a nice change, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
So I got a little bit of analog to talk about. Okay. Have you ever heard of a game called Keyforge?
Ooh, no.
Okay, Keyforge. Let's give you the elevator pitch. So Keyforge is brought to you by Fantasy Flight Games and is designed by none other than Richard Garfield. Now, if that name sounds a little familiar, it's because he invented a little card game about 25 years ago called Magic the Gathering.
Ah, did he now?
And it kind of did all right, and it's still doing its thing. So, but Richard Garfield is not only the designer of Magic the Gathering. He's created many games over the years. Some have been great, some have been not so great. If you ever played King of Tokyo, it's Richard Garfield. So Keyforge, what makes Keyforge special? So I think one of the things that frustrated or irked Richard Garfield about Magic the Gathering is the way it's evolved over time, and that people they're having to buy cards or buy booster packs, etc., and eventually it becomes in some ways it creates an imbalance among the community. So you've got people that have got these really hot killer decks that they've spent a lot of money on, and then you've got the people that are just starting who maybe can't afford to buy as many booster packs, and they're just playing with standard decks. Now, outside of tournaments, etc., we're talking kitchen table Magic. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But one of the things that Richard Garfield wanted to do, he wanted to create a more level playing field for the player base. So this is one of the things he had in mind with Keyforge. So what makes it unique? It's a unique game. This is Fantasy Flight's kind of thing that they're calling it. It's a unique card game. Why is it unique? Well, technology has advanced to the stage where at the printers, so when the cards are being printed, there are algorithms running that make each deck unique. There'll be no other deck. The deck you buy and you open will be unique to you. Nobody else in the world will have it. It will have its own unique name. It will have its own unique card back. And that deck is to be played as a singular deck on its own. So there's no mixing and matching. There's no chopping things out and putting other stuff in. That is the deck you play. And you can, if you wanted to start playing this game right now, you could just buy one deck. You're probably worth buying two, so you could sit a friend down who's never played and say, right, here's your deck, here's my deck. And it works on the many of the standard collectible card game principles in terms of your moment-to-moment gameplay. So the object of the game is you need to craft 3 keys. Okay, and the keys are crafted through the trading in of Ember. Okay, how do you earn Ember? You earn Ember through playing cards. Either earn it from playing it onto the battlefield, or you can reap. Okay, I'm using a lot of terminology here, but there's multiple ways you can earn Ember in order to create these keys. 3 keys wins you the game. Okay. The card is, I think it's 37 card deck. You will have 3 factions aligned to you. So there's 7 factions in total available within the game. So as part of your deck, you will always have 3 factions. on each turn, you select a faction that you're going to play, and you can play as many cards relating to that faction from your hand out onto the playing field. If you've got cards already out there relating to that faction, you can do stuff with those cards. You're not allowed to, but only that faction. So that's the interesting hook with this. You select a faction, you do stuff relating to that faction, then you end your turn, and it passes to the next player. And you always draw cards back up to your hand of 6 at the end of your turn. So you've always got cards to play, and it's just down to you to decide strategically which faction to play on every turn.
Okay.
And the different factions are weighted towards different things. So one will be all about control, another one will be about aggro, dealing a lot of damage, another one will be about manipulating the game state in crazy, funky ways. I mean, the one takeaway I've got many takeaways from this game, but the one thing I really like about this game is that every game, it's almost like you're exploring your deck. And by that I mean you're exploring the possibilities of the way the cards synergize together and how they interact with the playing field. And for every game you play, you're learning your deck more and more and more, because there's no other way of learning your deck other than actually playing the game.
Oh, it's a question there for you. With the deck that you got, your 37 cards, and then the 6 that you have ready to play when it's your turn, do you then look at what cards you have and then decide maybe these are more suited for this faction? Or do you choose the faction based on the current state of play?
So you've got, and this is where the strategy. As on the face of it, it's a very simple game to play. I mean, the instruction booklet. I mean, there's a quick start guide in the starter set, but the actual rule book's available digitally, and it's 13 pages. That's it. But when you're looking at your hand, you could think, right, well, I could play this faction, which is going to affect the board state immediately, or maybe I'll hold on to that faction for a little while because I've got another faction that might set up a combo chain. So you can plan for the immediate, or you can plan for the future. Now, that's not to say that your opponent might end up playing something that might scupper your plans. But it's very interesting the way the cards interact with each other, and it's and I've said before, it's a very simple game to learn. It's easy to pick up. So you could, if this was your first journey into that kind of collectible card game, and it's not really a collectible card game, but it's got many tropes around CCGs with cards that interact with each other. This could be a great starting point, and a low barrier of entry as well, because all you'd need to do is buy 2 starter packs. Two decks.
Yeah.
And the way competition goes is, so they're obviously planning for tournaments and in-store events. So you'd rock up to a store that was holding an event, and depending on the format that they're playing, you either bring a not pre-constructed, but a deck you've already owned, and you've maybe played it a few times, and you think, you know what, this is a good deck. The cards within it work really well together. I'm gonna rock up with this deck. Or you rock up and everybody buys a sealed deck, and they open it and they'll sleeve it, and you play the deck. Now, that's a really good leveler. That's a level playing field that I'm comfortable with playing on, because you've got just as much chance of picking something that's got an amazing set of synergies to something that's maybe not so good. But the interesting thing is that the way the cards are designed, there's a good amount of balance there. Now, obviously, you're not going to guarantee that every deck is going to be able to consistently be competitive. But this is where they introduce the chain system. So in offline mode, if you've got a deck that actually kicks the arse out of other decks, you can agree with the other player that you start with a certain amount of chains. And what chains do is they hinder, or that's their way of handicapping a player with a really good deck, because when you've got chains, you draw less cards into your hand at the end of every turn.
Right.
So I might have a really badass deck, and you're playing for the first time. So right, I'm going to give myself 10 chains. So that means for the next 3 turns, I'm only drawing 4 cards, and then for the remaining 5 turns, I'll be drawing 3, 2, 1, and then I'm back to drawing the full amount back up.
Right.
So within tournament play, so there's an app associated with this. They're still working on stuff to be released and announced with it, but you can register. Each deck's got a unique QR code. Obviously, it's got a unique name. So you register your deck, and Fantasy Flight will, through time, as tournaments continue, they can track the progress of your deck. So every time you rock up to a tournament and you've logged a win, they will know. Now, if your deck starts getting good, then next time you rock up to an event with that deck, it'll say, right, well, you're playing this event with chains. Okay, so chains erode over time as you play through a game. So say you start with 5 chains, and then every turn it'll go down 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's not a permanent handicap. No. It's just a starting handicap.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So I like this idea of unique decks, and the fact that you have to utilize that deck in its entirety. And there's no swapping around. When it comes to the types of cards that you have, do you have ones which are resource based, ones which are damaging, ones which are? So I'm trying to think is like if they're going right. Okay, so 37. Okay, the deck will be unique, but are there shared cards, or is every single when you get a deck that's unique with its own name and its own backing, will you get a card in there that you could have in a different deck?
Yes, absolutely. So there's a pool of around I can't remember the exact number. Let's say 320 odd cards. So from this release set, and that's not to say they won't release further iterations in the future, for this release set there's a pool of 300 odd cards from which your deck is comprised. Now there could be multiples of a single card, but they work it so that you get never more than so many amounts. There's different rarities, so you've got normal, rare, and there's even renegade, or is it renegade or mercenary cards, where and these are quite rare actually. You'll get a card that's normally aligned to a certain faction, but it'll have a special indicator to say you can actually play this in a different faction. So there is, there's interesting stuff going on.
So I guess there's not just like a random generator where it says, right, that's your deck. There's got to be some thought into it. So for a deck to be competitive and useful, it must have these things.
Yeah, and even to the point where, okay, so we've got 3 factions. Each faction will have 12 cards. So that makes up 36 of your deck, and then your final card is kind of your card, which this is kind of like your map where you put your ember that you collect, but also on the flip side, it gives you your deck list. Okay? And you can, you've got people that are buying many, many decks. Which kind of defeats the object of what Richard Garfield was trying to approach. But I'm sure he doesn't mind that people are buying more decks. Fantasy Flight certainly won't mind that people are buying more decks. Only this thing sold out. The starter set sold out on day of release, and they've only just got stock back in. So I mean, just on that, you've got choices out there of what to buy, and people will be looking at things going, right, well, there's a starter set. Do I need to get the starter set first? So what you get in the starter set is you get two decks, which are kind of like your training wheels decks that everybody gets in a starter set, and then you'll get 2 random decks within that box as well. In addition to that, you'll get various counters and punch-out tokens that you can use to track various things throughout the game. You can proxy all that shit. You can absolutely proxy all that shit to do with counters, etc. So if you didn't want to spend like the 28-30 quid on a starter set, you could just buy 2 decks, and that's good enough for a competitive game for two players. And then you just pull tokens from other games to determine the other counters and trackers. It's simple as that. So for 16 quid, you're buying into something that's really, really a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. I think it's a cracking game.
What's it called?
Keyforge.
Keyforge.
Yes.
Sounds alright, that does, fella.
And that's all I have to say on the matter of analog this time around. You'll be pleased to hear somebody. Okay. So what else? What's left, my friend? What's left?
Oh, I guess we're going to London next year.
Are we? Okay, yeah. So I guess just on that, Eurogamer has announced, rightly or wrongly, a wise decision or a poor decision. It depends on which side of the fence or which side of the river you live. They are returning Eurogamer Expo back down to the capital of London. we've obviously enjoyed the last few years in the NEC and the various associated venues that we've secured to have after show parties, etc. This kind of messes with that concept a little bit, returning it back down to London. This is something that we're actively looking at. We have nothing to announce right now, but be assured that we are looking very closely at how our social calendar looks for 2019. That's all I'm going to say. We're on it. Okay, don't worry, we've got you.
There will always be opportunity to press the flesh.
And dry humps. Righty, iTunes reviews. We haven't spoken about them in ages. What's going on?
If you like what you hear, do us a solid. Go to iTunes, find our storefront, and leave us a sexy review. It's worth noting every couple of years that if you just give it a starred review, then we have no idea who you are. However, if you write some sexy words, then we'll know who you are, and we can thank you like Darren is about to right now.
Yes, my friend. Very good segue. So we're thanking the following people: Razon, who left us a review back in November. What box quote I'm going to use here? He said, "I would just like to say that the dulcet tones of Darren and Matt make my special parts tingle." Yes, you might want to get that checked because it might not be me and Matt. It might be. I'm not casting aspersions, but it might be you. It might be you and what you've done with it. But beautiful. Thank you very much, Razon or Razon. Very, very lovely review. Thank you very much. Next up, we've got I Love to Kill Zombies. I bet you do. He just found us by, or she just found us by browsing. Okay, and he loves our enthusiasm, Matthew. Okay, we're still enthusing after all these years. It's good to know. Nice bit of feedback, and thank you, I Love to Kill Zombies, for your sexy review. And finally, we have AG65389. I'm not even gonna go there with what that means. It could be anything. It could be a dead man's switch. I've just spoken it on the phone, and something's going to happen. But I've said it now, so whatever. He's been listening, or she has been listening for a couple of years, and highly recommends it. And why not? That person is right.
Yes, thank you to all three of you.
And, no arguments from me with any of those assessments or assertions.
Oh.
Right then.
Sweet.
What else? Domestics.
Domestics.
It's been too long since we've done this. Matthew, you've got to do domestics.
All right. You can get yourself over to midlifegamer.net. As we mentioned beforehand, there is the review of that hard to pronounce game that I spoke at the opening of the show. Go and check that out. There's community voting going on for Game of the Year. If you get this in time, head on over and give us a list or three. You can head over to Twitter. The main handle is at midlifegamernet, and you can follow Darren. He's at uncle_Fister, and I'm at Mantis Matt. There's a Facebook group. As much as you might not have liked Facebook, it's the social media platform of choice.
Fuck Facebook.
You can get and join in with the Midlife Gamer gang there. Still, many people having some interesting conversations. A lot of stuff about Wham again, and I didn't know that was still a thing, but apparently it is.
It's more of a thing than ever, I think. I was listening to Absolute Radio the other day, and one of they do trailers for somebody's show that's happening at another point in the day. So this guy's trailer, he was positioning it as it's Whamageddon safe. So he's personally guaranteeing that Last Christmas will not be played during his show. I thought, fucking hell, that's kind of crawled its way into mainstream somewhat, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, but there you go.
Yes, that's Facebook. You can go over to iTunes and leave a review, as we already spoke about. You can, if you're a relatively famous person who likes our brand and makes some good telly back in the day, feel free to reach out. Oh, no, tell lie, they already did.
Oh, you love sucking your own dick, don't you, Matthew? Jesus Christ. Oh, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
I told my mother as well. She was like, I bet you're so happy, aren't you?
Jesus Christ. I've got a window into Matthew's mind here.
And other than that, as always, thank you for continuing to listen. I was trying to explain to the wife yesterday about our irregularity. I said that people don't. That sometimes people will subscribe from a podcast if they lose regular content. I just like to feel that our listeners, they'll always keep it on there. Even if we say we're never doing any show anymore, just keep it in there, because you never know. Every now and again, oh, bloody hell, these two are still alive. It's also a barometer of, I wonder how long it would take before people would reach out and say, you guys still with us? Is it the equivalent of milk bottles piling up outside our house?
Well, it's interesting you say that, actually, because we used to, I know Brownie, I'm going to call Brownie out. Hi, Brownie, thank you for continuing to put up with us. He would normally be the first guy to reach out on Twitter, and he'd go, new show anytime soon? He's fucking given up. He doesn't bother anymore. All right, so the milk bottles are piling up, and nobody gives a shit. But we will continue to endeavour to get shows out on a regular basis. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. It's all my fault. All right, Matthew would happily do a show every week given half a chance, but it's me. Life and other things get in the way, and I'll put it on a list of New Year's resolutions, and I'll put it high up the list. That even if we're not back to recording, every week or couple of weeks, try and get some regularity back into the schedule. Because I know you guys that still listen, a smile will appear on your face when a new show gets uploaded, and very conscious of the fact that we don't do this for ourselves. We do it for you guys and girls. So we want to keep on giving you content that you deserve, not necessarily the content you need. So that being said, we are going to go and put turkeys in ovens, and I've got a load of presents to wrap. I haven't done my wrapping yet. I'll tell you what, I've been really good with my shopping this year. I did all my Christmas shopping by the end of November. I've not had to buy a single thing in December. And you know what? It's been awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm going to do this every year now. Because I always thought people were crazy. You're buying stuff before December? You're a fucking nutter. No, you're not. You're doing it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you're doing. You're doing it right. You are winning at life if you buy all your presents before December. So, whatever you do over the Christmas period and the New Year period, take some time out to reflect on your life and the wealth of wonderful things going on around you, particularly friends, family, loved ones, and spend some time with them. Games will still be here when you get back. Yeah, take a little time out. Go balls deep. Have some fun. Be wonderful to each other at this special time of year. That's all I'm going to say. Have a wonderful Christmas and New Year, boys and girls, and we'll see you in 2019. Say goodbye, Matthew.
Stay safe, folks.
Go on.
Have you got an advent calendar?
No.
I've got.
Do I need one?
Of course you do. It's Christmas and all that.
Okay, so you've got one that's not chocolate related, I suspect.
Absolutely. And I was a bit disappointed when I opened it. Simple fact, there's only 12 doors on it.
Okay. Is it an annual calendar for your pants?
It's a male grooming product, so there's probably only 12 parts of the male body that need to be groomed, to be honest. So that's probably why there's only half of them. But bless the wife, it came to the 13th. I was like, I haven't got anything to open now. And she goes, have a look. Have a look back at door number 1, and all the doors had been closed again. So I opened the first door, and there's a little note in it. And it was a 10-minute head massage. I was like, oh, girl, if you've gone through all 12 of these and got 12 little notes of favours, then you're the best.
She said, just one point on the first door, though. There's too many words. Just drop the last word off. And then we're golden.
10-minute head. Well, so I thought I'm gonna this is screaming out for some top level trolling right now, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I thought I'll secrete some of my own notes in there as well as hers.
Yes.
So it was a couple of days later, and the routine is she opens her door, I open my door, and then we open the dogs. Because of course the dogs have got an advent calendar each. Of course they have. So I opened my one. I opened it up, and I was like, "Oh, how did you know?" She's like, "What?" I said, "How did you know? You know me so well." She said, "What? What?" I was like, "Soapy tit wank." Oh, bless you.
Just the best.
And there's also a sloppy blowjobs in there somewhere.
Yeah, bit of rough anal, maybe.
Not that rough. Not that rough.
Oh, not rough. You don't like it too hard, do you? I know from experience.
So what do you know about Reiki?
It sounds like a hot mess of bullshit. Is that the one where people are just waving their hands over you and not actually touching you?
It's a massage with the least happy ending possible because there is no touching going on.
All right, you need to sell this to me, okay?
Well,
sell it to me like I'm going. Oh, I've heard about Reiki. What does it do? Is it any good?
Well, it's all about aligning your chakras and all that. It is a bit.
What?
It is.
Hang
yes.
on, aligning my chakras.
Well, it's old school hippie dippy.
Okay.
Stuff. Now the wife has got into it massively. Bless her heart. Why not? She even did her level 1 Reiki level 1. So she is doing 21 days of self healing, which involves 45 minutes of doing Reiki on herself through a meditation state. And at that point, after the 21 days, she's able to start practicing Reiki on other people, which is fine. She said, I can do Reiki on the dogs. I said, well, lovely. I did balk when she suggested she could do Reiki on the houseplants. But I thought, I can't poo-poo this without giving it a go.
Okay.
I'll give it a go. So I there's a place called the Lotus Retreat.
Of course there is.
And so I said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'll go and I'll have an Indian head massage and bung a bit of Reiki in there for good measure. And the Reiki element just involves lying down, and she sort of tucks you in with like lots of pillows and loveliness and warmth and blankets, and just sort of there is a little bit of touching, like on the back of the neck and the head, and then there's a singing bowl gets used. You hear these bongs, and that's discharging some of the. And I was like, after that first, I was like, that was really, really nice. It was very peaceful. I'll have another go, but I'll have a full hour of Reiki, no messing, full on Reiki. I just fell asleep. Fell asleep, and it was lovely sleep and all, but I could have done that at home.
Yeah, well, you could have just put some ASMR type stuff on YouTube. I know you said at the beginning, right? You said, bless her, I ain't going to poo-poo this. Guess where I'm coming from with this?
I'm going to sit back.
How about I take a massive shit all over it? What a load of bollocks. What an utter load of bollocks. Chakras? What's a fucking chakra when it's got its hat on? All right? The least happy ending, I bet people pay for this shit as well. I'm in the wrong business, I am. I'll tell you what, you come and pay me 20 quid, I'll come around your house and not touch you. And I'm going to get the singing bowl, which is probably just a metal mixing pudding bowl. I'm just going to run my finger around the rim so it goes... And then I'm gonna get some bells. I'm gonna shake them over your body, and I'm gonna hum and I'm gonna sing something incoherently. And you're gonna think, oh, this is fucking great. I'm just having a laugh. I'm laughing down my fucking sleeve at you because I'm ripping 20 quid off you and I'm doing fuck all to help you. How'd you like them apples? I'm setting this up right. Uncle Fister's Reiki. You want to get ripped off? Come to me. I'll fucking sort you out. Yeah. I will completely hose you. I will take you to Hose Town, and I will slap you. I will slap you senseless, but I won't. I will virtually slap you senseless because I'll be waving my hands over your face, but not actually touching you. But I'll be waving it from side to side. Look at me, slapping your face, slapping my face. I'm putting my virtual finger in your ass, taking your money because it's all a pile of shit.
It's also 45 quid an hour.
45 quid an hour? That's IT consultant level, that is. Fucking hell. Oh, man, I'm in the wrong business, I am. Jesus Christ. Right. There's me. Reiki for Dummies. I'm going on Amazon now. Yeah, Reiki for Dummies. That's everybody who pays for it. All right. I'm sorry. I love her. She's a great woman. That woman of yours. Yeah. Plenty of redeeming qualities. But this is horse shit. This is a steaming pile. This is Shire horse shit. This is like a massive pile. If you put your foot in it, it'd go up to your kneecap. Fuck Reiki. Fuck it in the ear. This is bullshit. But hey, if she's earning 45 quid an hour for not touching somebody, it's better than being a prostitute. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Right.
If there's anything to be taken away from this rant, at least you're not a prostitute.
Yes. Because that's not a good business to be in.
It's one of the oldest businesses to be in.
Mm. You mentioned earlier on in the show, and you have to remind me from time to time that you are colourblind. Do you remember that? I was showing my good lady the site that we used to go to, T-shirt Hell. So there's a website that does t-shirts. It's a US based site. It's called T-shirt Hell, and this has it produces the kind of shirts that you probably wouldn't, or you'd question whether you'd feel right by wearing it out in public. Okay, it's some really wrong, rotten shirts. If that's your jam, go knock yourself out. But I just look at them for the hilarity of what people potentially could be wearing out on the streets. But there's a couple of really good ones. Okay, which I've always thought, do you know what? I think I'd be happy to wear that. Okay, and the main one I'm thinking about, because you mentioned it, is that colour test. It's like the circle with all the dots in, and there's an image in there. And if you're colourblind, you can't see it, and if you're not colourblind, you can see exactly what's in it. So they sell one of these. So there's all the dots and all the circles. You imagine this out on the shirt, and in it says, "Fuck the colourblind." I just thought, that is fucking genius, because I'm not going to be offending anybody. Because if you're colourblind, you're not going to be able to see it. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
I like that.